I said, plug me in. I got stuff to talk about, damn it. I'll crawl out of my earbuds once a week to give you a show. That's what I do, folks. I do this show for the common man, for the people in despair. I bring this show into the world and I sell it everywhere. The simple truth lies waiting here, folks, for all of you to share. Hold on, I will take you there. Hey, what's happening, Mike Schmidt 40? Oh boy. Podcast for perverted creatures. That's me doing my Mike Toomey doing Adam West. Although, actually, that was terrible. That was me just doing the speech patterns of Adam West. Patterns. That was me doing speech patterns. It's very hard for me to talk. I now have a handlebar mustache. It keeps getting in my mouth whenever I talk. I just went full Raleigh fingers. Like normally, I had a goatee for a while, and I'm like, all right, everything's gonna be fine. And then that dude almost cut it off at the fucking haircut joint. And my hair is super long now. I'll tell you that. I don't know. It's like long on top, but it's not like comb over long. Like I'm not covering anything up. I just like the fact that it's long, and I'm also scared to let anybody fucking cut it because who knows what the fuck's gonna happen to it. So I was debating whether to get it cut, and I actually went to visit Jill in Milwaukee. And, well, I told you about that when I went to Walmart, that when I was there and I was frolicking and she was at work and I had the day to myself. I could do whatever I wanted because she was very busy with her nose to the grindstone, and I was very busy with my nose in the Wisconsin air. And so I was like, hey, do you think your hair person would want to give me a haircut? And Jill was like, you're going to get your haircut? I said, well, I don't know. What do you think? And she's like, well, I think I kind of like it. And I said, I am never cutting my hair again, because that's what happens when you're 5 years old and a girl says she likes you. But in reality, I do like it too. But I was kind of cutting it because I thought it was like time to cut it, but I don't want to cut it. But also it's in that dangerous mode where I got to think in like another month, it's going to be like supervillain long, like kind of strange. But that's okay. I mean, I can deal with that. You know what? I think it's like Edward Scissorhands long, but it doesn't spike up. Like if I spiked it up, I could go Glenn Plake on everybody, which would be fine, kind of cool. But I don't think I want to go Glenn Plake. I don't want a mohawk. Do I want a mohawk? It's not 1988. All right. Were Mohawks 88? Is it more 78? Never mind the bollocks. Here's my mohawk, right? That's what I want to do. No future. That's a good idea. Let's fucking calm down now. What the hell was that? You know what? Because I usually just go at breakneck speed and I run downhill with you guys and I talk and I go really quickly. But today, I think we're going to throttle it down a little bit, huh? What do you say? Let's put this show in cruise control. That's what I do. I'm going to take my foot off the pedal. I'm going to tell the bees to slow down. You know what? Let's just make some honey. Let's just make some honey this week, folks. Let's not sting anybody. I don't have to unleash the bees on you guys for stinging and whatnot. I'd say we just make some honey. Let's hive it up. Let's just climb into the hive, man. Let's just relax. And let's just avoid the swiping bear paws and make some goddamn honey and have a good time. Are you with me? Who's with me? Lean back. Put your ears on fucking blast and let me talk right into your fucking skull. Let me into your brain right now. You know what? I'm actually the king bee. I say my head is full of bees. Well, right now, I'm the king bee, and I'm flying through your fucking earbuds out of your fucking iPod vagina, and I'm flying right into your skull. Your head's like a hive. And dude, I'm totally hiving in there right now. It's just me. I'm in there all alone. You know what? I need a friend. We need a friend in here. Let's get a friend in here. Let's fill it up. Let's fill the space. Let's explore the space. Let's get some more cowbell. Let's do all that nonsense, right? That'll be fun. Oh, we're relaxing. We're having a good time. I don't know if we're relaxing or having a good time, quite frankly. I know I am. I'm kicked back. I'm as cool as you could possibly be. I'm cool as, I'm going to say this. I'm cool as a zucchini. Ah, damn it, I blew it. It's cucumber, right? Isn't it cucumber? I knew it just before it came out of my mouth. I was going to say cucumber, and I went zucchini instead. God damn it, my mouth has a mind of its own. It really does. It has a tiny brain right in its cheek. Hi. How you doing? I'm good. I'm here at Lily's house, and it's twilight. Well, not really twilight. It's sort of twilight time. Well, that's what the Platters would say if they were here. Well, actually, first they'd look at me and they'd go, only you, and then they'd say it's twilight time. What if I did the entire Platters catalog? Oh my God, how old the music references on this show going to be from now on? Pretty soon it's going to be me fucking quoting an organ grinder and a monkey, like from fucking vaudeville. That was the earliest hit song. Yeah, actually, the earliest hit song was ding 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 ding. Isn't Pop Girl the Weasel? That's probably her first song ever, besides Happy Birthday. You know, I think Pop Goes the Weasel was first, which I got to be honest, made all the birthday parties awkward. I'm great. I'm awesome. How boring were birthday parties when everybody sang Pop Go the Weasel to you? Oh my God. Finally, one enterprising family went, we got to think of a different birthday song than Pop Goes the Weasel, especially because of the mess it made of the cake every time. I bet you didn't know that. They baked a weasel into every cake back in the fucking 1800s. There was a weasel, and you know what? The weasel would pop out of the cake right on Pop Goes the Weasel because they were trained, even though they were cooked. And then they would get fucking frosting all over their handlebar mustache. And that's what I'm trying to bring back, folks. That's why I have one right now, because Lily and I are going to get a cake, and a weasel's going to pop out, and it's going to put frosting all over my face. And I'll tell you what, you have not lived until you have had weasel frosting all over your handlebar mustache. Yeah, God damn it. Feel my arms. Oh, I am fucking ganked. All right, so let's update some stuff. Let's tell you guys some things, because people write me, and they have questions. And by write, I mean they type, because nobody writes me a longhand note, which would be odd. Because I'll tell you what, if you're going to write me a letter, I have a P.O. box, and if you want that, I'll give it to you. But do me a favor, if you're going to write me a letter, just fucking stick it in a bottle and throw it in the biggest body of water you can find, because it's got as much chance of getting to me as it does through the fucking USPS. Because you know what? If you send it from Canada, however, send it. Because I know for sure I got some friends on the force up there, and they'll make sure I get my stuff. Although I don't know if Sandra D. Sanchez is still my friend, because I said there were no funny people in Canada, and she lives there, and she was furious at me. And by furious, I mean she typed for shame, which seems that's angry for Canada, right? That's really. She's like, no funny people in Canada, for shame. And I was like, oh my God, did I fucking piss her off? Look how fucking mad she is. She's so angry. And I don't want her coming down here because she's like, you know, a tiny lesbian. They do damage.
To what?
To me, to guys, to everything, to anything in their path. Dude, you've never heard of Hurricane Tiny Lesbian Sandra? Oh my God, it did so much damage in the Antilles, in the Dutch Antilles. How do you even not remember that? Because that's where our servers were for the longest time, and that's what knocked us off the grid for like 3 months. Remember when we had to stop doing the show in year 2? Everybody else does. Because it was like 12 weeks in a row, and they were just like, this sounds like the same show. Who cares? He's yelling. What's he yelling about? Same thing. You and I, you do not remember the trip we had to go when we had to fly to the Antilles and talk to Bjorn and find out exactly when our servers were going to go back online? I cannot believe that you are just. Why are you bailing on me on this? You were with me. You of all people should remember.
That trip.
Yes, thank God. How many trips to the Antilles have you and I taken?
Well, there was the sex romp.
Yes, but
There was.
well, that was a different kind of server altogether.
There was the spiritual awakening.
Yes.
There was another one. What was the other one? The servers.
This is probably my bad. Yeah. Well, the christening. We had to go for the christening of the prince. Yeah, we had to go for the prince's christening. In hindsight, in retrospect, I am wrong for taking you to task on that. We have been to the Antilles quite a bit. But I thought you'd remember that one because it was when Hurricane Tiny Lesbian Sandra had wrecked the Antilles and we had to go down there.
I don't remember the word lesbian in there.
You don't?
No, I just remember the
You weren't paying attention.
I just remember tiny.
Hurricane Tiny Lesbian Sandra.
I just remember hurricane.
You don't remember we talked because we met the police chief of Beverly Hills and he said, "Is this the Hurricane Tiny Lesbian Sandra that wrecked the buffet at the Herald's Club this morning and also the servers in the Antilles?" You don't remember that speech?
I think the show is just for us right now.
Maybe. And then actually maybe one person too many.
Yeah, I think
This could be just for me. Honestly. I forced you into 4 trips to the Antilles. But that's good.
I went with you.
You did.
Not
Well-
to the Antilles, but I went with you on the.
Yeah, well, it took a while, certainly. I sat there spinning a propeller waiting for the plane to take off while you wouldn't get in. But other than that, seemed like we were doing fine. I'm like, come on, we can't leave. This boat can't leave. This Antilles run can't leave unless you hop on the bus. And you're like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know why I made the boat a bus there. I have no clue.
We took a bus to the Antilles.
Now that's a trip you remember. If we take a bus to the Dutch Antilles, that is a trip you absolutely remember. So I'm going to update you people on some things. People want to know. People have asked me things. They've sent me notes. Diane Kreitz writes.
What?
That's right, our friend Diane. Diane is on Facebook, and she's really cool, and she likes the show, and she's always very nice to both of us. I think Diane has a house full of minks. And I don't mean like, like strippers named minks, or like child detectives. I mean like she has the animals
What?
in her house. Yeah. She has a house full of minks. I don't know if she's breeding them. They may be chinchillas. I don't know. But it's like she'll post a picture and it's like, oh, look at Diane. She looks like she's having a good day. And then she'll just post a litter of monsters. And I'm like, oh my God, what is that? And she'll write, my babies are enjoying their Thursday. And I can practically hear her rubbing her hands together in glee. And I'm like, whoa, you weird supervillain, Diane. What is that you're doing? But she'll post literally it is a box of monsters. And she'll just be like, oh, look at these cuties. And I'm just like, this is the kind of photo that would run in a newsreel footage of a monster attack. Like they would be like, oh, look at this box full of cuties. Seconds later, her face disappeared. You know what I mean? Because she was attacked by this box full of cuties. Which would imply that she was attacked by tiny oranges. Now, I don't mean to imply that at all. I mean, she literally has a box full of monsters, like with teeth. And she's like, oh, how cute. And I'm just like, I don't know that. I've heard the expression shitting like a mink. So I think it's good that you're keeping them in a box. I don't know if it's good that you're keeping them in a box together. I don't know what you feed a mink. What do minks eat? Something soft, right? They gotta eat like fucking velvet and bananas. That'd be awesome. Well, velvet's a stuff. That's not a food. That's like a thing. You can't feed anybody velvet. Why have you made a horrified face?
Because I looked it up. There's like pictures of wild animals.
What minks eat? Or you looked up Diane's page?
Diane's page.
Of course. See, that's what I'm saying. She'll write, and she writes us, and she seems very nice. She's like, Mike, I hope you're doing well. And then in the next thing, it's like a photo of 3 monsters with capes on, and she's like, soon I unleash my pretties. And I'm like, what? That seems fucking weird. Mike, I really like the show. You and Lily are the best. In a fortnight, I unleash the carnage. Diane, you seem so nice. But yeah, it's just like monsters, tons of monsters. And but she's super nice. Would you say they're cute?
They're so cute.
Oh, you are totally falling under the spell of the monsters.
Oh my God, they're so cute.
This is what they want you to think. They want you to look at them and go like, oh my God, how cute are they? And then you go to pet them, and then guess what? Fingers gone, stumpy hand, falling down to your death. That's what happens. Diane lives in a monster house. But she likes us. So that's cool. She likes me and you, and she likes the show. But I do say that she shares her living space with just a passel of monsters, just a petting zoo full of savages. It's just savages. She has a box of savages, and she posts them on Facebook. Look at this box of savages. But good for her. Somehow she survived it with a cheerful disposition to boot. By the way, she can't have boots because they will chew them up. She wrote me a note. And she was super cool. And she was like, hey, I have a question. And I went, yes, because I answer all of my correspondence in the voice of the great Gildersleeve. And she said, hey, you haven't mentioned your mom lately. I love the show, and I love you and Lily, and I hope you're doing well. And I hope your mom is doing well. Please know that we all hope that your mom is recovering nicely. And she sent me this a couple weeks ago, and I probably should have answered it in actual email. But instead I'm answering it here. I will be on. I will tell you this. I was a little thrown by we all wish that she's recovering nicely, because I mean I think that's well wishes from Diane in a box of monsters. I'm not going to lie to you. Because I mean I don't think Diane is like speaking for like any humans that I know or any of the people in the fan club or people. I think Diane has appointed herself queen of the monsters and has brought me their well wishes, and I'm a little frightened by that. I don't know. Because I think, here's and hear me out. I think the only reason monsters want my mom to survive is because they haven't gotten to her yet. And they are making their way toward Florida, and they will savagely tear her apart. That's what they wish to do. They're like, oh, we're glad that your mom beat cancer because now we get a crack at her. That's what the monsters are thinking. And good for you, monsters. That's fine. But I will tell you right now, my mom's no longer in Florida. You'll never find her. We have spirited her away to the Antilles on a bus. Well, Diane, it's nice of you to ask, and other people have asked too. Many people have written and said, "How's your mom? Hope she's good. Everything's good." And let's answer this first, really quick. Other people are like, "Hey, has anyone ever successfully baited Mike's mom into a game of Words with Friends?" Because, as we know, my aunt had me sign her up in an unbelievably long process. Our friend Christine Butcher sent me a screenshot of her like sending my mom well wishes on Words with Friends to like challenge her to a game and say, hey, we hope you're doing well. We're all thinking of you, and which was super nice. Christine's nice. I think because one of the cities we're looking at is Columbus, and she's there, and she gave me a bunch of heads up on some places there. Dude, I should just answer emails once in a while instead of having to come on here and then talk about this stuff like I'm answering the people, right? Shouldn't I? But thank you, Christine, for reaching out to my mom and telling her everything was good. Although I got to be honest, playing Metastasize as your opening gambit in that game probably was not a good thing to do. I mean, my mom did have a procedure. You are aware that she's had a procedure? I know you want to win, but at all costs. So people have asked and people have reached out and people have said these things, and I don't think anybody has played Words with Friends other than Christine and her, metastasized gambit. Nice one. Good for you. Hope you sleep well and feel great about it. And then, of course, Diane and her box of savages are tracking my mom's movements because they want to eat her, which is good. Diane does not. The savages do. Diane genuinely a caring, heartfelt thank you and wondering if things are okay. The savages, however, thinking only of their empty bellies. But I'll tell you this. I did talk to my mom. I do talk to my mom all the time, actually, to the point where I was calling my mom like every other day to check in and see what was up. And I think my mom kind of got sick of me, quite frankly, because I kept calling, and I wouldn't say sick of me, but it was that thing where she basically decided, because she had no new news, really. You know what I mean? She's seen her oncologist and done these things, and everything seems to be clear. She's got a bad knee and a bad shoulder, and things don't change very much in 2 days, certainly not in the life of an old person. I don't mean to lump her in like that, and into someone who's, one step ahead of the scimitar. The scythe. I don't know does Death carry a scimitar? He should. Oh my God, shouldn't he? Death carries a scythe. You know what? Death carries a box of savages in my mom's case. She doesn't realize it. She's going to see some sweet woman on the side of the road going, "Oh, we love you and your son." And mom's going to go, "Really?" And she's going to unleash the savages. And they're going to go right for my mom's carotid, not knowing that my mom had it removed. That was part of the procedure. She had cancer of the carotid because my mom only gets alliterative diseases. She had lupus in her liver. That was the worst. I mean, not as bad as her heart herpes, but certainly bad. So bad. So people wrote and they've asked and they've talked and they've checked and they've been very nice to find out. And when I call my mom, I annoy her because every time I speak to her, the phone calls keep getting shorter. Like I would call and I'd talk to her for like 15 minutes. And then the next time I'd call, it'd be like 13 minutes and then it'd be 10 and then it'd be 6. Eventually it would just be like, she'd answer the phone and she'd be like, "Oh, hey, thanks for calling, Michael. Knee, shoulder. Okay, bye. Love you." Click. Because she's got a bad knee and a bad shoulder, and there's nothing's changing. Nothing's changing. So, the last time I talked to her, it was just today. I called her, and she's making plans to head back north. You know, they live in Florida, but then they got this house in Illinois, and they've got to try to spruce it up and get rid of it. And it's so funny. My mom is like, she's got a house full of garbage. I mean, essentially, that's what it is. I'm sure there's vases and ashtrays that she loves, but I mean, what the fuck? Throw it away. It's like that old dude getting his fucking blood pressure checked last week. It's like, man, move the fuck on. Here's a story, all right? It can happen at any time. You just had cancer surgery, and you should just do cancer surgery on your house and consider everything in it a fucking tumor and bring it out to the goddamn curb and let them throw it away. Because my mom is going through, and there are pictures of me that I would want. I mean, look, don't you want to see 3-year-old me on a leash? Yeah, don't you? Because they had to carry. My mom put me on a leash. Have I told that on here? Yeah, there's pictures of me of her holding me, and because I would run away. I would just look. I had a wanderlust even as a child because I knew even then someday I was going to make it to the Dutch Antilles. But I wound up running around, and so she put me on a leash, and my brother Lenny went home and he got some of the photos, and now but I just told my mom, I'm like, just. Fucking, it's garbage. I don't need my 6th grade report card. Unless I'm at a strip club, I don't need a handful of D's. Seriously, I do not need to see what I did as a child, for fuck's sake. So, I mean, I can't even imagine what she's hoarding these things for. Throw them away. It's just boxes. Because, my stepdad has the right idea. I don't know if I mentioned this on here. He told me, because I was talking to him about cleaning out the house, and he's just like, I don't fucking get it. I don't know why we're doing it. We need to get rid of everything. He went to the garage. Get this, dude. They've lived in this house for over 25 years. Okay? And he went out to the garage, and there's boxes, like, up in the rafters. He just took them down and went to throw them away. He didn't even open them. And my mom came finally, unfortunately, my mom came outside. She goes, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Well, I'm getting some garbage out." And she's like, "Well, what are these boxes?" He goes, "Well, they were up there." And she says, "What's in them?" And he goes, "I don't know." And she goes, "Why aren't you going to open them?" He goes, "Why should I? I haven't opened them in 25 years. There couldn't possibly be anything in here that I need or want." And my mom said, "Well, yeah, but we got to go through it. We got to see." And he was like, "Why? We didn't need it for 25 years. What could possibly be in there?" And I have to admit, I'm of both camps. I'm with him, just fucking throw everything out. But at the same time, I'm my mom. I would absolutely open that box and root through it and see what the fuck was in it. I know I would, because I'm sure I'd find some fucking Snoopy book or some shit that I had to keep because I'm an idiot. And I'd be like, yay. And then fucking 4 years later, I went up throwing the motherfucker out because who needs it? Nobody needs it. Nobody needs anything, for fuck's sake. Get a goddamn bulldozer and run it through your house. That's it. Sell the lot. I used to be like that, man. When I talked about it last week, we're just like, move on. Fucking 20 years ago, just move on. Who fucking cares? I have sold so much stuff. I have given away so many things. I have gotten rid of things because I'd be living in somebody's house and they'd be like, dude, they just set your shit on fire. And it's like, well, I guess I got to go. And you'd have to get rid of your shit because you know what? You can only take what you can fucking carry. How many pairs of pants have I had in my life? I don't need them. I don't fucking need them. You know what? I got 3 pairs of pants right now. And you know, one's a 514, which is really good. One's a darker jean that I can wear out. And one is for the erotic unveiling of the cock. That's why I have those 3 pairs of jeans. I don't need anything more than that right now. You know what I mean? And my mom is just fucking like, she wants to hold on. And I just don't get it. I don't get it. Just fucking throw everything away. Because what are you going to do? Was stay up nights wondering that you got rid of that James Bond novel? Oh my God, I had Jaws, the novel, and nobody cares. What do you got, VCR tapes? Get rid of that shit. And you know what's funny? This is coming from a guy with a fucking closet full of boxes. I mean, I get that, all right? I have 2 tubs, and I mean tubs, like big fucking plastic tubs of videotapes that I don't know what's on them. I know there's old Lettermans, there's old hockey games, like I said, it's a YouTube bonanza. If I could ever fucking convert it and fucking find a way to put it up, I would have so much fucking cool video that people would want to see, other than my fucking, demo tapes and shit like that. Nobody wants to see that stuff. No, thank you. There's one where I told you there's one where I'm wearing like a shirt with the Batman logo on it. It's so terrible. There's one with me with my fringe jacket. Oh my God. There's one of me in my Run DMC sweatshirt with my purple Zubas and my mullet. Oh,
we need
wow.
a volunteer who would like to encode this for us.
Hey,
Email
who?
me
Yeah.
at lily@burlesque411.com. I'll sneak you the tape.
No, dude, you know what's funny? I have porn videotapes. I have a porn It's a Wonderful Life.
I want to borrow it.
I'm serious. I have a porn It's a Wonderful Life. It's like George Bailey and the ghosts and fuck Uncle Billy fucks like his mom and I'm trying to remember because there's I think, is it Candace Cummings? I forget. It's like there's no because of course the guardian angel, the Clarence is this crazy hot chick. But then the worst part is like there's fat dudes who it's the 80s, so there's like all these fat dudes who get laid. You know what I mean? It's just like it's before the Adonis. It's when Peter North was considered like the hottest guy, he and Rocco, because everybody else was just this like kind of normal looking dude. Jamie Gillis, those fucking dudes. It was before the hot dudes got into porn.
And ruined it.
Well, I don't know about all that. But yeah, so I know dude, I have, oh my God. All right, let's talk about this. I couldn't bear to throw them out. It sounds so bad because I had the It's a Wonderful Life porn, which is, just for the novelty of having an It's a Wonderful Life porn. But then I have, man, I don't know. I shouldn't even talk about this. I don't even know how they sold it. It's a video. It is so brutal. All right. It's 2 segments. Or do I have 2 tapes or do I have 1 tape with 2 segments? It's an oral gangbang. Like there's 2 different segments of oral gangbang. One of them is Debbie Diamond, who, if you guys don't know who Debbie Diamond was, if heroin wore a bra, it would be Debbie Diamond. She was just fucking raw. I mean, raw. She was one of those chicks who would like raw dog all the rock stars and then go shoot 4 fucking porn videos that night. Like she looked like she hadn't slept since she was 11. I mean, she was just fucking wiped out. She was always shiny and sticky because she had cum on her somewhere at some point. Always, always. So in this video, man, she's like in a room and all these dudes are just fucking, there's like glory holes and they all walk up to the glory holes. And I will tell you this though, this I don't understand. As a directorial choice, I don't get this, quite frankly. It's just Debbie Diamond and a bunch of disembodied cocks. You know what I mean? Because it's just glory hole and all that's happening and that's fine. But then she goes to work on those dudes and Debbie Diamond is, man, she's fucking raw. I mean, it was just filthy, filthy. So she's working all these dudes at separate times because it's all glory holes. And then all of a sudden, like it's the weirdest thing, all right? She's working dudes and she's going back and forth and she's working two dudes at once. And then she's working, like a fucking trained SEAL. She's doing three. She's just all over the place. And she's partially dressed but not dressed. And she's like, I think she's actually like punching herself. Like she's so mad at herself. I mean, it's just literally I think it's like she's so raw. I think they actually cut away to a picture of her disapproving father at some point during this fucking movie where she's just on her knees blowing four dudes and they just showed her dad in the corner with a pipe and he's just like, yeah, that's my daughter. Fuck. This is probably my fault. You're goddamn right it is, Mr. Diamond. If that is your real name. So Debbie Diamond's working all these dudes at these disembodied glory hole cocks. And then again, as a director, I wish I knew who the director was because I would right now find him and ask him this question. I don't understand this choice. As an auteur, I don't understand this choice. All of a sudden, he literally breaks the third wall by moving a wall on the set and everybody comes out from behind the glory holes and joins Debbie Diamond in the sex room. Dude, what the fuck? The whole point is Debbie Diamond by herself, disembodied cocks. I don't want to see some dude come in with his fucking 5 o'clock shadow and his grunting face. Fuck all that. Let's just see Debbie Diamond get sticky and wet and then fucking move on to the next goddamn segment. I'm not into seeing the dudes come out and say hi. Nobody wants to see a dude show up and go, hey, by the way, I have a face. I don't give a fuck about your face. We're looking at your cock and this girl and that's it. And let's get it over with. What?
Do you not know why they make those types of films?
Tell me.
Because guys like to see girls have other guys' cocks in their face.
Okay.
They want to see a room full of men waiting to degrade this woman. That's what the whole concept of that fetish is. Just because you like a disembodied mouth with a disembodied cock, you're renting the wrong films.
Fuck all that. All right, so But I seriously, I wanted to see, it's like a chick with 5 glory holes and 5 disembodied cocks and she's going to work and let's see her just get fucking crazy. Just throw her a white beard and let's get her the fuck out of here. I don't need to watch Fantasia. I don't need to watch these fucking guys come marching down the staircase with a magic broom and then fuck her all over the goddamn, I don't need to see their faces. Put your wizard hats away, motherfucker. I'm interested in you from the waist down and her going to work and her getting fucking wet and sticky and then we're done. We're done. That's it.
You just rented the wrong film.
I bought the wrong film. Fuck renting. Who do you think you're talking to? I had money in the 80s, goddammit. Renting. 90s. Fuck. So it's Debbie Diamond and all these dudes, but then they fucking march in. Like I said, dude, fuck your nutcracker. Nobody wants to watch the March of the fucking Wooden Soldiers. Stay behind the wall. Nobody wants to see your face. I don't give a shit about your nose. Nobody runs a porno to see your nose. So finally, Debbie Diamond meets these dudes, and they go to work on her on a table, and everything goes off, and whatever. That's fine. But it had such promise. I don't know why it ended so poorly. So, and at the end, like Debbie Diamond is one of those chicks who just, she makes you believe the hurt in porn.
Wow.
And I'm not saying that appeals to me, but I'm saying when you see it, you recognize it. I mean, like that emptiness in their eyes and that shallow, hollow, I don't know where I go from here. Like, I can't even imagine anything in the world more awkward than the small talk on the set of a Debbie Diamond porno when they say cut. Oh my God, I can't. Because it's just this emptiness, this loneliness, because that's just 5 guys looking down and there's not a hug to be had. And there wasn't. Well, the reason you know why there's not a hug to be had is because you would just slide right the fuck off. Because at that point, that's just 5 dudes looking down at a candle, a sad candle. Because she is just fucking waxed over. She looks like 24 glazed donuts, literally just laying there. And 5 dudes are looking down at her like, yeah, I did that. Hope you're proud of yourselves. Get behind the wall.
Man.
But Debbie, like I said, at the end of a porno with Debbie Diamond, she's just, and also in the 90s, like they used to, you ever see those pornos with multiple scenes where they just fade? Like there's no credits and there's no real ending. That's fucking creepy as hell to me. Because that makes to me, it's like that person, it's like it's like those living dummies in the Magic Castle. It's like those living marionettes. You know they're alive, and every time they get the button pressed,
Nothing like that at all.
listen to me and hear me out.
Oh my God.
Every time you press the button, they got to come out and dance and perform. Every time you press the button, Debbie Diamond has to come out and dance and perform and do that thing and get all glazed up, and then it fades. It fades to black, and then they hit the button again, and she comes back out, and there's 5 more dudes. It's fucking brutal. Dude, she's like a human arcade. It's just depressing. Because again, like I said, she's someone who really brings home the wounded aspect of porn. Because at the end of and also she's here. Let me. God, this is gonna sound weird. Like she's so into it. You don't know if she's having the best time or the worst fucking time in history. Because the end of the porno, like I said, there's 5 dudes standing around and they're just, they got nothing to do but jerk off and look around at one another like, Jesus Christ, when do we get paid? And where is craft services? And she's laying there just in several puddles with like 4 fingers buried deep inside her and 2 fingers in her mouth. And she's just laying there with her eyes closed. And she's not, because she's not there. She's not there. She went away. It's like she just decided, you know what? But that's what I'm saying is you buy the actual, like I said, either she's having the greatest, most fantasy-laden time of all you've ever thought of in sex, or she is now at her communion. You know what I mean? Like she's in a treehouse with her friends when she was 11, and she was thinking about when she was going to be a nurse. Literally, like it's that moment where she's like 4 knuckles deep, and she's like, "Where did it all go wrong?" Or "How right is this?" Like I can't get a bead on her. I can't figure out how Debbie Diamond works it. And here's the thing, like she just kind of disappeared. Like she's one of those porn chicks who made 1 billion movies and then all of a sudden she was just gone. You know, and that could go 2 ways. You know what I mean? Like she could be in a hole in the desert somewhere. Like someone just threw her. She was some sort of escort and 4 dudes throw her in a burlap sack. You know what I mean? A really, really sticky burlap sack, and they fucking disappeared her. Or, you know what I like to think? Here's what I like to think. I like to think that she finally went, you know what? I got everything I wanted out of this porn thing. And she decided to just go back to her regular name and become mainstream. I like to think that like Debbie Diamond is like she's Hillary Clinton. That's who Hillary Clinton is. Like Debbie Diamond she was this porn chick, and then she went underground for like a year, and she came back as Hillary Clinton, met Bill, and said, yeah, let's do this. That's perfect. She got everything she wanted to get. Are you looking her up? What are you doing? You're looking her up?
Yes.
Oh, I don't know. Do we want to know this? I don't know if we want to know this. She's got to be, she's got to be dead, right? Because she got vanished. She just got fucking vanished. She's not dead?
No. She appeared in her first film in 1983.
83.
Her high point was in the early 90s where she worked virtually nonstop. She won a ton of industry awards.
Of course she did. Yeah, well, virtually nonstop. I guess that's going to happen. Pretty soon.
93, Unsung Siren. 94, female performer for her body of work.
Well then.
Inducted into the Hall of Fame. Let's see here. Best couple sex scene in 90.
Okay.
Best group sex scene in 90.
You don't know about that? Best group sex scene? She was alone. That's how fucking raw she was. She was alone and she won the best group sex scene in fucking 1990. God damn, Debbie Diamond.
Female performer of the year in 94. Best group sex scene again in 95.
Nice.
Best outrageous sex scene. Best all-girl and best all-girl for film and video.
All right, so
Well, Butt Slammers 4, of course.
She was in Butt Slammers 4? How did they do the first 3 without her, quite frankly?
Well, I don't think they were award-winning.
That's true. They came around to the award winning when they hired her.
She's still alive.
Bullshit.
No, she's still alive. She has her own website.
Where does it say like what she's doing or where she lives?
Well, in early 2009, she began to perform in adult films again.
When? What year?
2009.
Oh no.
And she currently hosts Debbie Diamond's Playground, which I don't know if that was in 2009. Wow.
Let me ask you this. Real talk here, real question. Would you bring your children to Debbie Diamond's Playground?
Yes, I would.
I have no idea. I can't even imagine what's on that teeter-totter. Seriously.
My favorite line in this biography, seriously, is Debbie resurfaced in 2007 on MySpace after nearly 12 years out of the spotlight.
Yeah. Yeah, because she retired. She was like a school marm in Wet Crack, Pennsylvania.
She has 3 kids.
She lived in Four Knuckle, Nebraska. She lived in Sticky Gulch, Nevada. Jesus Christ. All right, well, good. Well, I'm glad I brought her up. Now we know.
Wow. DebbieDiamondVOD.com. Let's see if it's active.
VOD, video on demand.
Yes.
Dude, I wonder if we can
Oh,
find
Jesus.
what they got her. Is it her now?
I don't. She looks great.
Yeah, then it's not her now. There's no way. How old is she?
49. She's my age. She's a year older than me. What do you mean she couldn't look great?
Well, you look great, but you haven't been fucking getting banged around by 80 dudes a night with. Well, hold on a second. Let's double check this. Let me figure out the math. Yeah, you spaced your 80 dudes out over a month or so, but she was like, I mean, dude, forget about it. All right, well, I don't pretend to know. That's fine. If you'd like to talk about that, we could get you a microphone.
No.
All right. All right.
Debbie.
I gotta find that video. If I find it, if I find it, I'll put it up on the website.
The one of Debbie? Or
Yeah, the one of Debbie. No, one of me? No, I don't think the one of me still exists. I can guarantee you there are no videos of me floating around. I mean, well, there's my demos, my stand-up demos. But I'll tell you, you know what's funny? Well, no, I'll tell you this, though. After each of my stand-up demos, at the end of it, I'm lying in a puddle with my four fingers inside me and inside my mouth. I really bring the pain and the hurt to the end of a stand-up demo.
Oh, my God.
And it just cuts over to the ghost of my father with a pipe just disapproving, going, yep, that's probably my fault.
Oh,
Thanks, Dad. I did this.
Christ.
So I'll tell you this. In this movie, there's that segment with Debbie Diamond, right? And I won't lie to you. Man, you think I'm vascular and yoked now? My fucking right forearm had the strength of cable steel from jerking off to that scene. Oh my God. But that segment is fine. But then there's the second segment. And this is this is the one I want you to see. Like the Debbie Diamond one is just raw, aggressive, angry, sad porn. But the second one is truly offensive. Because it's like 6 dudes at a poker game or some bullshit. They're like in a hotel room or whatever the fuck. Again, they're just playing Parcheesi, whatever 6 dudes do in a hotel room. And unfortunately, I think Ron Jeremy is one of them.
I like Ron.
No, don't even pretend.
I liked watching Ron have sex.
Okay, that's a different story, but don't pretend that he's a good person or interesting or funny. I have to hear that all the time, and I'm just like, come on. Yeah, he was a porn guy, and good for him, but Jesus Christ.
He's always been very nice and funny when I've met him.
Well, good for you, but I just find him to be quite a mess. All right, so he is such a mess, Debbie Diamond should be laying in a puddle of him. And she probably was a few times, let's be honest. But in this segment, in the second segment, they send for like room service. And they wheel in the room service cart. And there's 6 dudes playing cards or hanging out in a hotel room, whatever the fuck they're doing. And this is weird. They order room service. They only get 1 dish. Don't understand it. I mean, you guys seems like you'd be hungry, right? Wouldn't you be really ravenously hungry if you're playing cards, or at least get a bunch of snacks or something? But no, they only get the tray comes in, the cart comes in, they roll it in, and there's only 1 dish with a silver lid on it, a chafing, not a chafing dish. It's like a serving dish, like and then a waiter would go dun da da da, and he would take the lid off, and so they come in and they roll the table in, and they go, all right, who's hungry? And then they take the silver lid off of the dish. And there's just a woman's head. A disembodied woman's head served on a serving dish. And first of all, none of these guys surprised in the least, which I'm kind of disappointed by. Because honestly, if I'm out with my friends and we're playing cards and someone wheels up a cart and takes a lid off of the one thing we've ordered from room service, I would not expect disembodied woman's head. Particularly a live disembodied woman's head. And then because instead, here's what they all do. They all get their cocks out. And I'm like, wait a second. And sure enough, she is under the table. She's trapped in it and her head's on the dish. And then she just blows everybody while she's served up. She's not even a person. She's literally just a head. And I think eventually they let her out of the table. I can't remember off the top of my head. But I do know, even in the throes of jerking off like a fucking 24-year-old or whatever I was at the time, I remember looking at it and going, wow, that's a bit much. Even me. Now, did I continue to jerk off? Absolutely I did. But I can tell you right now, I would probably think twice about doing that. So those are the two pornos that I have lurking, certainly. And I think I may have like a classic, like a Devil and Miss Jones or something like that. I might have that. By the way, I have no idea how he spiraled off into my porn collection from the 90s. I don't know why that got mentioned. What were we talking about? The box up top? No, it was her head they had on the dish.
No, we got into porn tapes because of the box that they took down.
Oh, I see. I thought you were talking about her. No, it was her head that was on a chafing dish. It wasn't the. All right. So that's the thing is like my mom is so my mom's okay, I guess is what I'm trying to tell you. My mom's fine. We had the conversation today and she's like, we got to go back to the house and we got to fix it. We're going to be back in Florida later. And I said, well, aren't you going to have to see your doctor? And aren't you going to have to see everybody? And she's like, what do you mean? And I go, well, Ma, you got an oncologist. You got all these people. She goes, well, I saw the oncologist. The lymph nodes are clean. Everything's fine. I said, yeah, but that doesn't mean they stay that way. I mean, you've got to constantly go in now for checkups. You got to do all this. And she's like, come on. I'm going to go up there. We're going to do this. And I've got a couple appointments in October. And, if I need to see anybody up there, I go, Ma, you need to stay on top of this. Like it's funny. I forgot to ask if she was smoking. I just assumed that she's not, I hope she's not. But I was like, Ma, you had cancer. And my mom goes, that's old news. That was my mom's answer today. Mom, you literally 2 months ago you had cancer. That's old news. I'm fine. I'm fine. And I was like, what? And she's like, no, I don't mean it like that. I'm going to take care of it. I'll see the doctor and stuff. But I'm just telling you that it's okay if we go to Illinois. And so she talked me down a little bit. But I was a little thrown off by the response of that's old news. It says a lot about my mom and how tough she is, quite frankly. But at the same time, it also says a lot about how my mom is too tough for her own good and just now thinks that she whipped cancer's ass and cancer's going to be like, well, I guess we'll never come back to her again. No, Ma, I got news for you. You better hire another sheriff and another deputy because cancer will constantly be looking to come back to your town and shoot it up with Clive Owen. That's cancer hangs out with Clive Owen. No, because I said shoot it up. Did you ever see Shoot 'em Up? Did you ever see that movie?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Then you would remember how awesome it is. It's like Monica Bellucci and Clive Owen and Paul Giamatti. Dude, that movie was awesome. I saw that at like a preview, and then I saw them talk to the director. And I remember walking out of that theater and thinking this is going to be like a hit. Like people are going to get it, and it's going to be fun because it was all really crazy gunplay and violence, but also really over the top cartoony, and also funny and well written and smart. And then it tanked. Man, did it tank when it came out! And I was so pissed. It was like Kick-Ass. Like I saw Kick-Ass. I loved Kick-Ass, the first Kick-Ass. And then I did not see Kick-Ass 2, but I guess I'm glad I didn't because my friend Pat told me it was atrociously bad.
No, it wasn't that bad.
That was okay?
It was all right.
I'm so mad I didn't see it now. I'm the movie windsock. I don't go to movies. Well, all right, I'll tell you this. I broke my streak. I hadn't been in the movies in a long time. The last movie I had seen until recently was Man of Steel last summer. And I know you're thinking to yourselves, well, Jude, didn't you go to the movies all the time? I don't know. Did I just say Jude? I think I said, hey, Jude. I know you're thinking to yourselves, hey, Jude, don't make it bad. Take an aisle seat and make it better, which is what I would like to do at the movies. But I don't, here's the thing. Because I'm a self-contained unit now. It's just me. I used to go to the movies all the time with my ex-wife. And we loved movies. And we would go see sometimes 2 movies, 3 movies in a weekend. When things opened, we would see them, and we loved them. And then, as you know, she packed a hobo bindle and hit the road. Hopped on a train car and left me in her rearview mirror. And so I work a lot of doubles, and I don't have a lot of time to go to the movies. And when I do, it's $15 to go to a movie. Now I know you're thinking to yourself, Mike, you spent $15 on Hershey bars, and I would be like, hold on, we're moving the. Oh, we're still moving that. So we needed it at Debbie Diamond level. Can we hear me?
Yeah.
All right, good. Now you're finagling with buttons. Are you stopping me? Ain't no stopping us now. We're on the move.
Much better.
Oh, good. I'm glad. So, all right, yeah. So now, and I apologize, folks. Again, as I've mentioned in previous weeks, this is the theme of year 7. Apparently, is that I'm never going to speak into the microphone properly, and you're all going to have to strain to hear me. It seems ridiculous, right? It seems like I should be as loud as your iPod will make me. But perhaps if I am backed off from the microphone, the iPod will not make me that loud. Perhaps your iPod vagina is too small to contain my loudness. And by that, I mean my Japanese rock band. All right, so. And let's say, I got to be honest, I hope your vagina is too small to contain my Japanese rock band. Because, as the Japanese are known for being perhaps a diminutive people, but still, I do not want to fit an entire rock band of them in your vaginas. Or your collective vagina. If all of you together put your vagina into one, pile, dude, a pile of vagina? Oh, my God. Dude, I would totally dive into a pile of vagina. All right, so. Yes, all vaginas.
The name of the show.
Is it really? Oh, we've just named the show Yes, All Vaginas. Please, folks, file off to the left and go ahead and exit in an orderly fashion. Because I know you don't want to stick around for the rest. So the last film I saw was a film called Man of Steel, and I had to see that because I was doing a Man of Steel spoiler episode with our friends Graham and Chris over at Comedy Film Nerds, but also I wanted to see it. They roped me in. I decided, you know what? Maybe they did Superman correctly this time because I, as you may know, I am not a huge proponent of Superman on screen. Superman 1, yes. Superman 2, yes. And then since then, nothing at all worth talking or writing home about. And I got to be honest, if you sit down and put pen to paper about a Superman movie, you need to get a job. Do not write home about a Superman movie. Even 1 or 2. 1 is good, although I don't know if it holds up. I've been told that it does. I haven't seen it in a while. But 2, come on, Kneel before Zod, that's all we got to say. But then, in Man of Steel, which spoilers! I was so disappointed in. Well, that's not a spoiler. I mean, you know that. But then there's Superman kills a guy. He actually kills a dude. Superman's not supposed to kill any dudes. That would be like if Superman fucking just fucked Lois Lane and then he left her and was like, ah, and he twirled his mustache and bailed. That's, you know what? It's like if Superman grew a mustache. There you go. How about that? That's even worse. Well, that's not worse than banging Lois Lane and running away. Or killing a guy. I got to put, you know what? Let's be honest. On the list of Superman transgressions, I'm going to put mustache third. I have to put mustache third behind killing a guy and having really casual sex with Lois Lane and then laughing at her and leaving. Hey, Debbie Diamond was a spitter, too.
Okay.
I just thought I'd bring that up.
Hey.
You know why that's? Because I was going to think that Clark Kent, because Superman spit in Lois Lane's face when he flew away. But I'm like, that's just like a douchebag move. That's that bumps it up. I got to be at that bumps it up over killing a guy. If he just bangs Lois Lane and then he spits in her face and he flies away, super style, and goes, yeah, I don't know why we would do that, quite frankly. But then, yeah, I got to make that the worst thing. I'm thinking of the bad things Superman can do. Superman should have been raped in the other movie. Anyway, I've talked about that ad infinitum. I won't go into that theory again. I've talked about that, I think, on at least 4 different podcasts. All right, so, which says a lot more about my career than it should. But I had to see Man of Steel. I was like, I must see it. And then it was terrible. It was so bad, and I was so disappointed. But, and there were other movies that came out. I wanted to see Captain America, The Winter Soldier. I wanted to see Wolf of Wall Street. I mean, there were movies I wanted to see at the films. I wanted to go see them at the cinema because I enjoy the cinema. But I could not bring myself. Like, whenever I would have a day off, in my head, I'd go, oh, dude, you got so much stuff to do. And then I would be on the internet for 9 hours. And then I'd be like, yeah, I didn't leave the house. That's fine. And then I'd go get a fucking shish tawuk dinner with rice pilaf and a salad. And then I'd eat that. And then I'd go to sleep. It was just brutal. And also, in the interval, I have become involved in a relationship with a woman who is far away from me. And so what I try to do is earmark a lot of my money and my time to seeing Jill, because that's really what I want more than anything. I want to be there. I want her here. And so I want to make sure my schedule's clear, and I want to buy plane tickets and go check her out. And, well, that seems weird. I'm not going to go check her out. Like I'm hiding behind a grassy knoll. Check that out. All right. No, man, I want to spend time with the woman I love. So I try to earmark my cash and everything for trips or for her to come to town, and then my time as well. I allot my time to be with her. So I haven't been to a lot of the movies, but I found myself in Wisconsin last week. No, is that 2 weeks ago? God, what's that? Time has flown. It was 2 weeks ago. Well, I'll just, I'll tell you. All right, let's start from the beginning, folks. Here's what happened. I kept talking about going in, like, because every time I talk to Jill, it's always this thing that devolves into like, man, I wish you were here, and she's like, man, I wish you were here, and that would be great, because I mean, I want nothing more than to be with her all the time. So I decided I was going to surprise her, and I was going to go out there on Memorial Day. Because I just happened here, and here's the thing: I always look for this. I work so much that I can't really make a plan to go there. I get my schedule a month in advance. So like if I get on June 1st, I know what I'm working for all of June. So I have to get them my avails if I wanted to see her. So I know when I need to be off to see her when she comes to town or when I go and see her. But if my schedule comes out and I happen to have 2 days off in a row, or God forbid 3 days off in a row, in my head I go, you know what? I could probably grab a quick flight out there and see her for 3 days. So I always look at that possibility whenever I get my schedule. And here's when I usually look at it, because I'll have 2 days off in a row, and then like the third day I'll work just a closing shift. Well, dude, I can make a phone call and get somebody to cover a closing shift. Hold on, something's happening.
Nothing.
Okay.
Sorry, I thought it was on off.
What was that? You? Or,
Exactly.
it was a phone.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I was hoping it was not you.
No, I'm still on.
You're not springing. All right, good. That's good news. So I'll look, and if I have like a closing shift, I can make a phone call and try to flip that to somebody and see what I can do about going out of town for 3 days, and because that always makes it worth my while, and I hope it's worth her while. But also, as you know, folks, I'm a fan of the surprise. I like a grandiose gesture, as I've mentioned to you before. Like when I sent her a box of Take 5 candy bars with love, and she got a box of Kit Kat candy bars filled with hate. So it was like, that's what I like to do. I like to ruin everything, is my point. And again, she's like, I always tease her, I'm like, you're so mad at surprises. I'm mad at surprises. But this time I was like, you know what? I had a couple of days off. I was off Tuesday and Wednesday, but Monday I had a double on Memorial Day. But I knew there were guys who were kind of champing at the bit for hours, so I made some phone calls and I made some maneuverings and I checked around, and there was a dude who wanted it. I go, cool, take that double. It's yours. So then that night, on Sunday, this is the day before Memorial Day, I went online, I had some miles, I scheduled a flight, and she didn't know I was coming. I was totally going to surprise her. Because I knew I knew her schedule a little bit, but I didn't mind. I don't know how this will sound, but I hope it sounds the right way. I would walk there for an hour with her.
Aww.
I'm serious. So that stuff never bothers me. I don't, I know, like I've said to her, I know I can't have you every moment, but I want to make the most of every moment that I have you. And we do that when we're together for 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, or on the phone or texting. I just want her. So I actually wound up calling her on Sunday night, and we were talking on the phone, and I was a little short on the phone, because what she didn't know was I was packing a suitcase and I had to get to the airport in like 2 hours. So we're talking a little bit, and she's at a campfire with her friends, and then I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm actually going to let you go. And she's like, what? And I go, yeah, I got to go. I got to do some stuff. She's like, oh, all right. Because I was vague and terrible and I couldn't make up a good lie. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I just got to go. All right, bye. Because I had to get in the shower and shave and pack a fucking bag and get ready to go, because I had a flight leaving for Philadelphia at 1 a.m. and then connecting on through to Milwaukee. So I get my stuff packed, I get ready, I get in the car, and I start driving to LAX. And then she texts me, and then I text her back, and I go, all right, I love you, and she's like, are you going to bed? And I'm like, no, not going to sleep yet. She's like, oh, well, I'm not either. I'm not, if you want to let me go. And I'm like, no, of course not. Everything's great. Meanwhile, I'm on the 405 going 80 miles an hour to make sure I make my flight. Like, I'm literally punching it. And there wasn't a lot of traffic, but at the same time, I just wanted to make sure I made up as much time as possible. And especially because I will tell you this, I was flying on U.S. Airways, because I don't know if you know this, folks. I'm a gold level flyer on American. But they've now affiliated themselves with U.S. Airways, and these flights happen to be on U.S. Air. But they couldn't give me a seat over the phone. So I had to get to the airport and try to fight for whatever seats there were. And I did not want to hassle with that. So I had to get there as soon as I possibly could. So I was able to fix it where my return flights were all booked and squared away, and I had I had seats on the right hand side of the plane, on the window seats, which is exactly what I wanted, and that's fine. I was prepared to sit in the middle seat. Did not want it, especially from fucking LA to Philadelphia, 5 hours, but I was willing to do it because again, I would walk there. So we texted a little bit, and then she finally was like, "Well, I've got to crash," and I said, "Okay," and it just so happened she crashed right when I got to LAX. And I pulled into the parking lot. I parked. I went out and to catch the shuttle because I had to get a shuttle to my gate. And when I got in, I checked in, and it turned out I already had seats, and it was amazing. My seats were in windows on the right hand side of the plane. And I think the only thing I can think is, that's listed as a preference with my American account. Like that's where I want to sit. So I'm wondering if US Air had access to that, and they just went ahead and gave me those seats. Because again, folks, I am a gold level flyer. So I hopped in. I got on the plane to US Air, and the plane was like a ghost town when I first got on. But again, I can board early because I have a priority pass because I'm a gold level flyer. So I get on the plane, I grab my seat, and all I'm going to do is just listen to a fucking iPod and sleep. And that's what I did. The plane was empty. Nobody sat next to me. I fucking sprawled out. It was gorgeous. Slept all the way to Philadelphia. And that's kind of a lie. I tossed and turned because I was pretty excited. Because, again, folks, James Bond, spy, goddamn Born Supremacy in the air on the way to Philadelphia and then off to Milwaukee to surprise somebody. It's going to be amazing. So I land in Philadelphia, and I've got an hour to connect. And in Philadelphia, their airport is antiquated, so there's no like shuttle, SkyTrain or any of that bullshit. I'd actually walk out to the goddamn tarmac and jump on a bus, and then they drove me on a bus to a different terminal. But that's okay because then I got on the plane, and the flight to Milwaukee is only another 2.5 hours or 2 hours. Got on that plane just about as empty as the other one. Nobody next to me, sprawled out. Wanted to sleep, could not because again, super excited. And I'll tell you this: here's how amazing the world is, folks. Sunday night, I was in my house doing laundry. Came home, turned my phone off, just did some laundry. And then within 3 hours, I'm sitting on a plane in Los Angeles on my way to Philadelphia to head toward Milwaukee. And I get my phone out and I book a rental car on Priceline via my smartphone. It was that fucking quick. So insane. So I take the flight from Philly and I get to Milwaukee and I go pick up my car. And I met very nice Raul at the Avis counter. And I was like, "Are you getting time and a half today, Raul?" He goes, "Absolutely." And so we talked a little bit more, and he goes, "No, I'm not getting time and a half." I said, we're walking out of here, Raul, right now, you and I. What are you renting me? Because you're going to ride shotgun in it as we drive out of this oppressive regime at Avis. And he laughed, and his girlfriend laughed, or whatever she was, the other lady at the counter. And their manager, humorless, did not enjoy me, but the two of them loved me. And I made them laugh. And then he said to me, I said, "What did I rent?" And he goes, "Well, I'll tell you what, you rented like a Chevy Malibu or something like that. But, for only $10 more a day, you can upgrade." I go, "Dude, I'm here for like an hour. I'm literally checking out my girlfriend and then bailing." I go, "I don't need to upgrade." He goes, "You know what? It's Memorial Day. I'll give you an upgrade anyway." So he did. So he gave me a Hyundai Sonata.
That's an upgrade?
I'm going to tell you this right now, Lily Von Stupp. I know you hate Koreans. I mean, that's on record and documented.
Not at all.
We know that about you. But I will tell you this: the Hyundais are fucking excellent cars. I have rented a Hyundai Elantra. I have rented a Hyundai Sonata. I would buy either one of those cars. They're awesome inside, and the engine had good pickup. It was like a spaceship, even though it made a weird noise, but still pretty cool looking. And it was like I dug it. I really liked it. This is the second time I've had a Hyundai, and I loved them both. And again, as I know, you hate Koreans. You hold a special place in your heart for hating them. But I'm telling you that despite your terrible experience with kimchi as a child, the Koreans are to be given a chance. Just because you don't like bulgogi or whatever that is that they eat, just because you one time almost choked on a banh mi sandwich and just thought that Vietnamese people were the same as Koreans, that's wrong. Quit your racist ways, Lily. Their cars are awesome. That is true. So I hop in the car, and I'm in the Milwaukee airport, and I'm driving out, and now it's time to lay down the subterfuge. So I'm hightailing it out of the Milwaukee airport, and I text Jill, and I'm like, "Oh, good morning. I love you. How are you? What's going on?" Probably something more interesting than that. And she's like, "Oh gosh, I'm up, and it's great. It's Memorial Day. I'm going over to my friend's house now for this like picnic, and I'm flooring it because I just want to get there." She's like, "Oh yeah, I'm going over to my friend's house to have some breakfast," and I'm like, "Oh awesome." She's walking her dog over there, and I'm like, "That's gonna be fantastic." And so I'm like, "Oh man, I'm at the beach all day today working a double." And she's like, "Oh, well," and I go, "Well, at least the weather's real nice. I wish you were here." And she's like, "Yeah, that's cool. I love you." And I'm like, "I love you." And again, it was a lot more interesting than this. I'm making it sound. I just want to read you the actual texts. So she tells me, so I go, "So you're not home?" She goes, "No, I'm actually heading over to these people's house." And I now, because I know where she lives. I don't fucking know where anybody else lives in that town. I got no clue. And again, she moved to the big city now. So I have to try to figure out where she's going to be. So I go, "Oh man," I go, "How far do they live from your place?" And I'm trying not to give too much away. And then as I type that, I actually, because again, folks, I have a phone with a powerful computer in my hand. Uh, I look at the guy where she's going to be, and I find him on Facebook, and then I Google him, and I find his address. Like I literally find his address in the white pages online, and I see it's close to where she is. So I know. So now I'm totally a spy. Now this is going to be fucking amazing because now I'm going to show up at that house in front of her friends and walk in and be a total hero. It's going to be the best. So I Google that and I find it, and I pull up, and again she said that she had gone over there. I pull up outside, and so I walk up the side of the house because I saw the people in the backyard. I walked around the back of the house so I could emerge on the side of the house where they where the fire pit was. And all I'm doing at this point is hoping that my spine is strong enough to support her when she runs and leaps into my arms with joy. So I come around the corner, and as I get there, I look, and there's two women in lawn chairs. Neither one of them is Jill. And I've now walked into their yard, quite frankly, from the back, not even from the front. I came around their house and snuck up on them in their own goddamn yard. So the two of them are sitting in lawn chairs, and they're both kind of like looking at their phones. And the one woman looks up at me, and I go, "Hi." And she goes, "Hi, Mr. Facebook." I went, "Pardon me?" She goes, "Yeah, no, we know who you are from Facebook." I go, I'm Mike." And they go, "No, we know exactly who you are from Facebook. Hi, Mr. Facebook." And I meet the lovely Lori, and I meet Ginny, and they're very nice people. And I shake their hands, and I'm like, "Jill told me she was here. She was coming over, and she was having like lunch or breakfast with you guys." She goes, "Oh, she was here, but then Tawny started to fight with the cats, so she had to take Tawny home. Tawny's her dog." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So she went home. They go, "Yeah." I said, "All right, do me a favor. If somehow I miss her, don't tell her I'm here because she doesn't know that I flew to town. I flew just to surprise her overnight." And they go, "Oh, well, she's going to be surprised probably." And I'm like, "All right, good. I just want to make sure." But they weren't at all. That was the thing. They were not surprised at all. They're just sitting in lawn chairs like, "Hey, Mr. Facebook. Now we know who you are." What? Ridiculous. But again, unflappable, cool, just, yeah, hi. Because again, honestly, if I had gotten out of line, they'd just push me in the fire and fucking kill me. I mean, it's Wisconsin. These women are tough and unflappable. So I go, okay, I go, "All right, so I'm going to head over." And I go, "You know what? It was close enough where I thought I could maybe walk." And they go, "Well, you should maybe go through the back alley so they don't see you coming and then kind of sneak around." I go, "It's perfect. It's a perfect plan." So I walk through the alley. And I'm walking through the alley, and I'm kind of avoiding houses and trying not to be seen. And I can see her house in the distance, but I'm walking, and then I get to the street, and then I run. I totally sprint across the street. And I've still got my phone in my hand, and I'm texting her. "Oh, man, it's so nice in California right now. I only wish you were here on the beach." I mean, it's like all these fucking stilted things that I'm trying to convince her, whatever. So I walk, and I get to her house, and I go around the back, past a fence, and I come around to where her door is, because I don't want to be seen. I avoid the windows. I duck, and I actually flat backed it once against her house, and I like looked around. You know who I look like? I look like fucking Jim Carrey and Ace Ventura when he's sneaking into that dude's house, and he's just like dun 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 dun, dun, and he's like swings one arm over, and he fucking jumps in. Dude, I was totally sneaky and totally awesome. I was just waiting for fucking Jeremy Renner to try to shoot me with an arrow, and I was gonna fuck him up. I don't care. I'm on the case. So I come around to her door, and I open the screen door and I knock. Gung gung gung. Just a nice knock, because I didn't want to tip it. Didn't want to give my knock. I don't have a knock. So I knock, and then nothing. No answer. So I try the doorknob. Locked. I'm like, all right. So I knock a little harder because maybe she didn't hear me. Gung, 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 gung. And the dog starts barking. So Tawny's in the house. And she had brought Tawny back. So did she maybe fall asleep? Because she keeps some, third shift hours sometimes. And so now I hammer the door. I mean, loud. And I'm sitting there waiting. And nothing. Tawny barks. Tawny knows I'm there. And Tawny loves me, by the way. Let's talk about that for just a second. Tawny loves me. And I'll get into that in a little bit more later. But Tawny knows who I am. It isn't like, because Tawny goes crazy barking with a lot of people, but Tawny must sense it's me because she's not really barking, even though I pounded really hard on the door. So I got to fucking Jason Bourne it back to the other house. And by the way, my rental car is still parked down the street. So I fucking go and I leave her house and I go through the yard and I run. Just in case she's on the road. And I run over and I sprint and I get into the other alley. And I look and I'm finagling my way through houses. So I'm texting her again and she's like, oh, I'm at Angie's house. I'm in her driveway waiting for her to change clothes. And then we're heading back over to, Ginny's house. Or whoever's house it was. And I was like, oh. I said, okay. I said, well, I wish you were here, beautiful. It's going to be super busy here all day. I can't. It's going to be crazy, all these deliveries. And so I finally get to my car, and I pull away. I drive away from the block, and I go and I do a U-turn, and I park to where I can see the house, but I can't be seen. Because again, folks, Bourne supremacy. This is my personal Skyfall. I should have had a tuxedo on. I should have had a fucking tuxedo on. So I'm on a stakeout. It's fucking gorgeous. I'm Emilio Estevez and Richard Dreyfuss. I got a car full of fucking burrito wrappers. I'm just staring right now. Cold coffee. It's terrible. It's me, Gregory Hines, and fucking Billy Crystal. We're looking. We're making sure this is happening. And then I see her pull up. And I text her and I'm like, oh, and I send her a picture of the Los Angeles weather. And I go, it's beautiful here. I wonder what it's like. I wish you were here. And she goes, well, I hope you're enjoying our weather. And I was like, yeah, it's unbelievable. I guess it's the same there. So she pulls up outside the house, and I see her get out with Angie, and they unload some stuff, and they go into the backyard. And then I pull around in my car, my Hyundai, sneaky. And then I park. I get out, and I make my route again where I go around the house. And I emerge in the backyard, and there's Angie sees me and smiles. And then I see the other girls, and then Jill is looking down at the ground. And she looks up at me, and I look at her, and I just smile. And she goes, hi. I said, hi. And she goes, how you liking our weather? And I said, it's fine. In my head, I'm like, were you expecting me for some weird reason? And she just tilts her head and smiles at me, and she goes, honey, I knew you were here. My son texted me when you knocked on the door of the house.
Aww.
And then she walks over and hugs me. And and look, I would love to tell you that it was this amazing moment where I hugged her and I was like, oh, this is the greatest. I'm so happy, yay. But I was fucking furious. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I was so mad that my surprise, dude, I flew overnight. I booked a fucking rental car on the plane. I flew and I was in an instant, I was like, why? But it's another surprise. Another surprise gets fucking ruined. How did I do this? Why am I so bad at this? I am so bad at for a guy who loves surprises. I fucking love surprises, and I'm terrible at them. And she looked at me, and she's just like, "It's okay, everything's fine." I go, "Yes, I know, but I want." The thing is, it was okay because I was there with her, and like I said, I'm not going to have her every moment, but I want to make the most of every moment that I have her. And I started to get fucking riled up because I was like, oh my God, another surprise. Why the fuck did that happen? And you know me. You guys know me. You know I climb into my head super fucking quick. And I can't imagine why it didn't work out the way I wanted it to work out because I had a plan. It was going to be rose petals and red carpets. And, perhaps I would have shown up and there would have been trumpets. I have no idea. All I know is it didn't go that way. It went a different way completely after I had spied out, man. You know what? I was a spy, but I got a bullet in the head. I got found out. I was a double agent who got fucking flipped. It was terrible for a second. For a second, it was terrible. And I, it's so funny because I was meeting her friends too. And then I flashed mad. I did. I absolutely flashed mad in front of them. And then in my head, I went, what are you doing? You're with your girl. You came here for this. This is why you're here. And then I was fine. I was quiet and I pondered it. I kept trying to think where I went wrong. And then later on, we were sitting in the backyard and we had a good time. And then she's like, you okay? And I said, yeah, I'm okay. I said, I wanted to surprise you. And she goes, you did. It's amazing that you're here. I can't believe you're here. And I said, I know. And she goes, but I have to work and I have so many things scheduled. And I said, I know, but I don't, that doesn't bother me. She goes, yeah, but it kind of bothers me. I mean, I want to spend every moment with you. And I said, I understand that. But like we said, I can't have you every moment, but I will make the most of every moment that I have you. And I knew that I was coming here for 2 days to be with you when I could be with you. That was the important thing to me. If I can do this, and I reached out and I grabbed her hand, I said, everything's okay. And even if I came here for whatever moment, whatever amount of time I could have, that means everything's okay. And so we hung out that night. It was great. And Tuesday, like I said, she had to work, and then I went to Walmart. I think I told you about that last week. I went to Walmart and investigated fans and had a good time and bought some yogurt and had fun and drove the Hyundai all over town. And she put on Facebook, it was funny, she put on Facebook, I haven't seen a movie in a theater in 10 years. I think tonight's the night. And she and I had always talked about going to movies out here or whatever, because again, it's not a thing she does, but I used to do it all the time. So, and then of course I went in and I wrote, pick something you don't want to see because you're not going to be looking at the screen anyway. Because I'm a great guy. So she came home and she looked at me and I go, you serious about a movie? She's like, absolutely, yeah. She goes, what can we see? I said, well, X-Men is a movie that I really want to see. I said, and then there's a movie called Neighbors, which is like Seth Rogen and it's a comedy. And she goes, well, it's $5 Tuesday. And I went, what? She goes, it's $5 Tuesday at all the theaters in Wisconsin. It's like they do that. It's there. And I'm like, you got it. So are these rinky-dink fucking shitty theaters? And she's like, no, they're nice. They're big theaters. And they just, and it's funny because I remember in Chicago, in Bolingbrook, where I grew up, there was $5 Tuesday, sometimes $5 double feature Tuesday. That's where I saw a movie called fucking Backroads with Tommy Lee Jones and Sally Field. And I had a crush on Sally Field for like 2 weeks afterwards. I mean, it's just, we would go spend $5 and sit there and watch whatever they had. So she goes, it's $5. I go, even for the new releases? She goes, yeah, it's $5 for every movie. I said, well, X-Men is a movie that I would want to see. And she said, what's that about? And I'm like, all right. I go, we're not going to go. And she goes, what do you mean? I go, we're not going to X-Men because you're not going to know what it is. I go, it's a bunch of dudes fighting and you're going to go, who's that guy? Who's this guy? She goes, well, no, I'll watch it. Is it interesting? I go, yeah, but you won't know who the good guys are and you won't know who the bad guys are. And it's going to be a bunch of dudes in colorful outfits fighting for 2.5 hours. And that's just silly. There's no reason to see that. I go, because honestly, I would feel badly about having to make you sit through it. I would want to explain everything to you. I said, then there's Neighbors, which is just a comedy. And she goes, well, I could watch that. And I go, yeah, we could probably make that happen. And I said, well, there is another movie. And she goes, what? I said, well, Godzilla is out. She goes, I heard it's dumb. I said, it fucking better be. It's about a giant lizard. It better be dumb. And she started laughing. I go, God damn it. I go, if I do that movie and it's smart and it's real, I'll be really disappointed. I go, I want to see a dumb movie about a giant lizard who bites a bunch of shit. That's the only reason I'm going to the goddamn theater, to see a movie called Godzilla. I don't want to see Godzilla put on a pair of glasses and read from a fucking dictionary, God damn it. And she was laughing. And she goes, well, she goes, I would do that. I go, you would see Godzilla? She goes, yeah. She goes, I haven't seen it. I saw Finding Nemo in the theater. That's the last thing I saw with my kids. So yes, I would go, whatever you wanted to do, honey. I just want to go. And I said, fuck. Well then, I go, let's see Godzilla. It's stupid. I go, let's go see a stupid lizard movie. And she's like, yeah, all right, I'm in. So she got ready and we had a couple errands to run beforehand, but then we get to the theater and we walk in and $5 a ticket. Unbelievable. And it was a big theater. And I'll tell you this, it was straight up Wisconsin, because we're driving and it's just nothing but trees and fields and stuff. And she goes, all right, take a right here. And I took a right. And she goes, all right, take a left here. And I take a left. And I couldn't have been more shocked if the baseball players from Field of Dreams were having a catch in the middle of nowhere. Because I turned left and there's a giant multiplex theater in the middle of a fucking cornfield. Like it is just nothing and then a movie theater. That's it. And I was like, this place has got to print money because it's just full, and this is the place where everybody would go, and especially teenagers. I remember when I was a kid, man, you'd be at the theater all the fucking time. So we walk in, we go to pay, and there were two different Godzillas. We got there a little late. There was like a 7:15. No, not two different Godzillas. There are different times for Godzilla. So there was a 7:15 Godzilla and a 7:45, and it was like 7:20. And I said, you know, honey, there's like 15 minutes of previews, so we can actually still see the 7:15. Because I said, do you want to see the 7:45? She goes, I don't. That's like a half hour. And the guy's like, no, you're not going to miss anything right now. They're still doing previews and stuff. And so I said, great. So we bought the tickets. We went in, and we went to the counter. And again, here's me being dumb. I haven't been to the movies in a long time, and Jill, of course, much longer time. So I said, what do you want to eat? Yeah, I said, we got to have popcorn, obviously. So what else do you need? And she's like, I don't know. I just want popcorn and something to drink. I said, you want soda? You want lemonade? What do you need? And she's like, I don't know. So I had smuggled in a Propel. And so I was like, all right. And so she went over to look at the drinks. And in the meantime, I go, all right, we'll take a one combo, which is a gigantic popcorn and a gigantic soda for $12. And she comes walking back over, and she goes, I don't want a soda, honey. And I go, I know. I go, but we'll get you, I get like a cup so we can get like lemonade. And she goes, no, I just want water. Can I get a cup of water? And I went, oh, I kind of already ordered this. So, and I felt like an idiot, of course, now because I'm spending money that I shouldn't be fucking spending. And they bring over the popcorn, and it's bigger than her. And it literally, it tips her over like the ribs in the Flintstones car. So I got to carry it. It's gigantic. I actually have her hop in it so I can carry her to the fucking theater. And then she's got this gigantic water, and I just bring it over and I fill it with water. Like literally, it's a huge, ultra gigantic, large cup, and we fill it with water. And we go into the theater, and the previews were just about ending. They were on one last preview, and we find two seats up in the back row. And the theater was fairly full; it was about 2/3 full. But we sat, and I got to sit. There was nobody next to me. I was against the wall. She was right next to me, and perfect seats. And then the movie started, and listen, I heard Godzilla was dumb. I don't think I was quite prepared for just how dumb Godzilla would be. Because we were watching it, and the opening scenes where there's like a power plant, and look, I'm going to spoil the shit out of Godzilla. By the way, let me just tell you this right now. Oh, I think I already did. Giant lizard stomps things. Okay, there you go. That's really the only spoilers you need. But it was so fucking ridiculous to watch this movie. And in the beginning, like I said, we're Bryan Cranston, and there's a quarantine area, and there could possibly be a Godzilla, but nobody knows. But then all of a sudden, they get Bryan Cranston, and they bring him back to this scene of a power plant that had been destroyed, and it turns out that they're harvesting like a monster, or they're growing him, or he lives there. I couldn't figure it out. There's like an egg sack, and then there's a fucking glow-in-the-dark spine, and they blow it up with a bomb, and Bryan Cranston's son is there, and his son is young, and then his son grows up and becomes a bomb expert, of course. And then it's all... Here's the thing. When I saw the trailer, I go, they hooked me. I have to see Godzilla because the trailer looks fucking great. But I didn't realize, again, it's the same problem I had with Superman. If you go see Man of Steel is a gigantic film where Superman is fighting on a global level with General Zod and all these other fucking people, and they're going to invade, and all this stuff's happening. And in that movie, there's one reporter, there's one army general. Literally, there's no other... Because they have to only have a cast of like 12 or whatever. So there's one army general who all of a sudden he's like in Colorado, and then he's in New York, and then he's in Cincinnati. And he's like, this Superman must be stopped. This Superman is a hero. And it's just window dressing bullshit. And you're like, how the fuck does this guy turn up all over the place? And then at the end of literally at the end of the movie, and I'm going to spoil Man of Steel, I don't care. At the end of the movie, the guy is driving, the captain or the general, whatever the fuck, and he's got another soldier with him. Okay, who has kind of a crush on Superman, sort of, but she respects him and she thinks he's funny, but the gruff but tough general, whatever the fuck. It's all awful garbage. And as they're driving on a road, this is after all the shit has hit the fan and been taken care of by Superman, as they're driving, a drone, like a spy drone, crashes to Earth in front of them. Smash! It smashes the fucking street, and it destroys everything, and it just lands, and they have to hit the brakes really hard. And then they get out, and Superman floats down, and he lands, and he goes, you guys keeping tabs on me? Yes, we were. until you destroyed the $58 million piece of government equipment that we had orbiting the Earth. Thanks, Superman, you dick. Oh, by the way, I'm glad you decided to trash the road by destroying it by dropping the 58 million piece of government equipment on the fucking road and destroying the pavement. Oh, and by the way, Superman, let me ask you this. How did you know that one sprocket wouldn't fire off of the drone you fired and spiked like a goddamn football in front of us and come through the windshield and kill the general? Were you ever thinking about that? Did you ever think that might possibly fucking happen as you callously threw a fucking $58 million government drone at our car to prove a fucking point? So shit like that is ridiculous to me. It makes no sense. So in Godzilla, dudes, there is a ton of that stuff. There's like this scary monster, right? I can't even figure out what the monster was. He looked like he might have been a crab, but he might have been a pterodactyl, and he had some spider in him too. And I don't know if they hybrided him or he just got created out of the fucking jungle. I don't know what I have no idea. No clue. All I know is they tried to tie him up with wires, and then he broke out of the wires, and then he could fly. And also, by the way, everybody dies except Bryan Cranston and his kid. Like, literally, they're standing next to 80 soldiers that get wiped out or bitten or all this fucking crazy shit. And his son is just like, well, I'd better take a step to the left and then a step to the right. And he's doing the time warp and avoiding the goddamn giant monster. It's amazing. So then he survives, and then Cranston kind of survives. And then there's a guy who was there when the initial thing happened, and then he sees Cranston, and he's like, I need his help. But Cranston's got a head wound, and then they bring the son in. Oh, dude, what a fucking mess. What a mess. And their whole thing is like, hey, we've got Godzilla, and he's on our side. What? So Godzilla wakes up because the other monster took off, and then Godzilla goes to find that monster, and he's swimming to San Francisco, Godzilla. Meanwhile, while San Francisco is awaiting the arrival of Godzilla, this monster, no, I apologize. They go to Honolulu first. And I should tell you this, all right? Godzilla is going to fight these monsters. We all know that. Everything's going to be great. So in Honolulu, this monster shows up, and then Godzilla shows up, and they're in the street, and the fans are, people are going crazy, and they're like, oh my God, we're all under attack, and what's going to happen? And Godzilla, he's ready to throw a right hook. And this other monster is going to throw like a wing hook. Like they're about to fucking fight. It looks like when Rocky and Apollo went ding, ding, and they're about to land shots on each other's face right at the freeze frame. So the two of them wind up to punch. And here's what the director does. Look, he pulls away. They're just about to fight in Honolulu. Godzilla against other weird monster. And then he pulls back and he shows a television set that says Honolulu devastated by monster attack. And it shows Godzilla fighting that guy on like a 12-inch black and white television as they're in military headquarters in America. We don't even get to see Godzilla fight the monster and destroy Honolulu. I wish to God I was in that meeting when the executives sat around and they asked the director, well, what happens when Godzilla meets this monster? Oh my God, they have a huge fight and they destroy Honolulu. Oh my God, that's going to be amazing to watch. It would be if I were to film it. Pardon me? Why would I film Godzilla destroying Honolulu? His name's only on the poster of the goddamn movie with all of the promise that brings of damage to Honolulu. I would not dream of filming Honolulu being destroyed by Godzilla and another fucking weird monster. I will show it on a 12-inch black and white screen. It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. So then they destroy Honolulu, and then the other monster flies away, and then Godzilla gets in the water, and he swims across the Pacific Ocean to go find the other monster to go to San Francisco. And then that other monster goes to Las Vegas. And then he wakes up another monster. And then they beat up Las Vegas for like no reason. Meanwhile, Bryan Cranston's fucking. Also, I should tell you this, dude. Bryan Cranston's son, terrible actor. And then he's got a wife and a kid, and he's in the military. And he comes home for one day, and then all right, this will tell you that I forgot this. They come home. He comes home for one day. He's home from the military for one day. He's been in Afghanistan exploding bombs and all this crazy shit. And he comes home and he sees his wife and his kid and they have dinner and everything's great. And he tucks his boy in and his boy looks at him and goes, Daddy, will you be here tomorrow? And he makes a face and he goes, of course I will, son. Oh my, yeah, go to sleep, champ. He turns off the lights and he sees his wife and he looks at her and he finally gets to kiss her because he's been gone for years. And he grabs her and he starts to make out with her. And she's like, I'm so happy you're home. And he's like, I can't believe I'm home. And then the phone rings, and she goes, hold on, I'm going to grab that. Hold on. I'm going to grab the phone. You've been in Afghanistan for 10 years. You're about to fuck me on my couch. I'm excited for that. I think I should be, right? Don't I love you? Phone rings. Got to take that. Excuse me. Can you hold on? Holster your cock, because I'm going to go ahead and grab this phone call. I'm sure it's very important. Certainly much more important than you and our alone time. And it's a phone call from the police in Japan. And he's needed in Japan. And he gets on a plane that night because the wife tells him, you got to go. So that's when all the Godzilla bullshit happens and the monster escapes. And then they come up and they beat up Vegas. And then, so he winds up on a team of experts from the Navy. Like he says, hey, I know about bombs. And they're like, it doesn't matter, son. We got our whole crew. And he's like, I know about bombs. And they're like, all right, come with us. So he gets on a train that's got like a nuclear warhead on it. Dude, I can't even, it's a mess. Jesus Christ. Dumb doesn't say it. Dumb doesn't say it. So these two monsters beat up Las Vegas. And then there's a scene where they're in the desert trying to find these monsters. And then the monsters are like, because the monsters go fuck. I should tell you that, by the way. The two monsters, the monster that wakes up in Vegas and the monster that flew there, it's a male and a female. So they go fuck to make more monsters. So they fuck, and then they're and it's funny, they do it. They show them literally like hide in a clearing, like they walk together. And they go to the clearing, and then they walk out of the clearing. And as she walks by, it's actually kind of pornographic. She has a glow-in-the-dark fucking egg sack that's swinging back and forth between her legs as she walks over the guys, the soldiers who see it. And you see the little fucking monster swimming around inside the glow-in-the-dark egg sack. And here's my favorite part. The two guys they're laying on train tracks trying to avoid her. And she walks. She's a giant monster, egg sack full of monster babies, and just got laid, and she's walking. And I think one of them literally sneezes. He's like, achoo! And the monster turns around. Who's that sneezing on the train tracks? I'll bet it's Bryan Cranston's son. I mean, it's so fucking terrible. And I kept looking at Jill, and I would just kind of laugh. And so I'm destroying it. I know that. But then Godzilla swims to San Francisco, and then they meet him in San Francisco, and then there's they destroy San Francisco. Godzilla. All right, let's talk about 9/11 for just a second. If you took 9/11 and then you duplicated it, but you took out the slash, that they should have called Godzilla 911 9/11s, because that's how much damage is done all over the world by Godzilla and these two monsters. I can't even imagine the body count. I can't even imagine the death toll when Godzilla and these two monsters rumbled all over the fucking globe. And then even better, I'm sitting there with Jill and I'm watching it, right? And I'm trying to give it a chance. And they come to San Francisco and they're fighting. They're having a big monster fight. And the best part is they go to a camera angle from inside an office building. And there's a bunch of people at work watching the monsters fight through the window. They're like, oh my gosh, look, it looks like that giant lizard is fighting those two monsters from Las Vegas outside. I'd better get these reports collated. What the fuck are you doing at work? Why are you at work? Go home, motherfucker. You got to have a wife or a kid or a dog or somebody to love or hug, because for the love of God, monsters are destroying the earth. Don't you realize that Diane Kreitz has opened up her box of savages and unleashed them on the earth? People at work, and when they finally showed, but literally that was the one that got me. They showed the people at work as Godzilla is in the distance fighting these monsters, and I just went, ha ha! I laughed. And Jill looked at me and I go, sorry. And she laughed at me and she goes, yeah, this is, and I'm just like, yes, it's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Then there's another scene where, again, the same thing happens where the monster is there and the army team gets on a boat like 4 miles away, and the monster actually stops and turns its head like, what? And I look at her and I go, hey, that giant monster just stopped fighting Godzilla because she heard a boat start. So she's going to go ahead and check that out. Hey, is that Bryan Cranston's son getting on a boat? I mean, it is that level of ridiculous. And culminating in this, and I'm going to spoil this. This is an ending. I'm spoiling the end of Godzilla. I apologize. All right. I must tell you that right now. This is a spoiler alert, and I will take no more than a minute to do it. Godzilla has the huge fight in San Francisco. He's laying in rubble. He dies essentially at the end of the fight. And these other monsters, there's a cool thing that Godzilla does. I don't want to give too much away, but Godzilla collapses into a pile of rubble. And he's laying there as they're just kind of sifting through and they're saving people out of the wreckage. And they save Bryan Cranston's son's wife from a subway car, of course, because she lived. And it's just a fucking mess. And while all of this is going on, they show a television screen, and it says Godzilla, our mighty savior. Like that's the CNN crawl. It says he's our savior because he saved us from those two giant monsters. As they are taking, literally, they're panning the rubble of what used to be one of the greatest cities of the world, San Francisco. It is laying in just bodies and stench. I mean, there is no doubt. There are easily 50,000 people dead in the Godzilla versus monster battle, and that's in San Francisco alone. You know who's really pissed right now? The people in Honolulu who are like, how did you forget about us? The people in Vegas are like, dude, we didn't even get Godzilla. We just got two shithead monsters that destroyed the strip for no good reason. Honolulu was devastated on a fucking 12-inch screen television. It's terrible. Everything is ruined. Thank God they didn't do New York. At least we didn't have to see the fucking Statue of Liberty get knocked over. But again, San Francisco, Honolulu, at least they destroyed some interesting cities. So Godzilla's lying in a pile of rubble, and everybody's talking, and the scientists are there, and they're gathering survivors up, and Godzilla, not dead, folks.
What?
Because that would, of course, mean that there would be no sequel. Godzilla wakes up from his slumber, and look, we've all been there. All right? How many times have you had a crazy night in Vegas and then just woke up in a pile of rubble and 50,000 dead bodies and didn't know how you got there? Of course that's what happened. So he had a wild time in San Francisco, and he wakes up in a pile of rubble, and he's just like, he breathes. He's like, and he opens his eyes, and he's surrounded. There's people all over, survivors, non-survivors, rescue people, scientists. And he opens his eyes, and he kind of looks. And everybody looks at him, and then there's this kind of collective shrug, and everybody just goes, yeah, well, looks like Godzilla's awake. And they continue with their day. Nobody runs, nobody panics, nobody goes, oh, guess what? The gigantic lizard is awake. We might want to beat a hasty retreat. No, these people just go, yeah. You know what? I can see why he'd get up. It's warm out here. It's very warm. And they stretch, and then they continue about their day. And then Godzilla stands up, rises out of the rubble, and again, still no panicking, because apparently everybody has bought the propaganda that Godzilla is on our side, which I still don't understand. I mean, I get it. He fought the other monsters, but maybe he fought the other monsters because, they did some shit on Monster Island that he didn't care for, and now he's going to fuck all of you up. Put some spring in your step. But Godzilla gets up, and then he kind of gingerly walks through the rubble, so as not to disturb any more dead bodies or kill anybody else. And it's the best because he just kind of tiptoes out, almost like, you know what Godzilla did? He fucked San Francisco and then had a walk of shame. You guys can get me at MikeandMikeSchmidtComedy.com. You guys can be my friend at Facebook.com/the40yearoldboy. You can follow me at Twitter.com/the40yearoldboy. You can find our friend David Hernandez at artbydmh.com. That's his personal website where you can buy and commission artwork from him. You can get him at Facebook.com/DavidMexHernandez as well. Be his friend and talk to him there. But again, artbydmh.com is the place to find him and commission him to do some artwork for you because he's extremely talented and ready and waiting and willing and able. Our friend Lily Von Stupp is on several different Twitter accounts. Twitter.com/Lily Von Stupp, Twitter.com/MNTs, and Twitter.com/HollywoodBQFest. And you can be your friend at Facebook.com/Lily Von Stupp. But if you'd like to write her a personal note and find out how she feels about chickpea powder and beet sprinkles, bless you. You can write her at Lily at burlesque411.com. That's Lily, Lili, at burlesque411.com.
Joe business. Joe, oh, you're dirt, dirt. Joe business. Joe, oh, you're dirt, dirt. Joe business. Joe, oh, you're dirt, dirt. Don't tell me that you haven't bought the big angry. Not yet. Buy it at your business. Look at that kick-ass art for sale. Tweaked audio just cannot fail. Buy it at your business. Hey, the Schmidt, it comes alive. He'll like rap or buy you 1 through 5. Joe, oh, you're dirt, dirt. Buy it at your business.
Want to remind you folks about the Monday Night Teas every Monday night at the 3 Clubs on Vine at Santa Monica. It is an amazing show hosted by a wonderful lady a lot of the time, but she puts on the show. I certainly know that she promotes it and books everybody and makes it all happen. She is my great friend and your great producer. Her name is Lily Von Stupp. Hi, Lily. How are you?
I'm good, Michael. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. I am excited to be here in your home.
Okay.
So how was last week's Monday Night Teas?
It was awesome.
An extravaganza, an unbelievable one. Unfortunately, again, I could not attend. I'm tired of not attending, but I wind up working late on Monday, and I'm at the beach. So by the time I get out of there at like 10:15, I wouldn't get to you till like 11:30, and that's intermission, and then it's just terrible. So eventually, I'll make it work, though. I must come. I must see the show because it's been so long
It's been a long time.
since I saw that show.
It's been a long time.
It's been a long, lonely time. Well, good. I'm glad the show was really good this week. And how are you feeling? How's your knee? How's everything about you?
Falling apart at the seams. but
Oh,
that's okay. I'm
all right.
going to Hawaii.
So would you say that you are a human sock monkey?
No.
Oh, I wanted to say that.
No.
Hmm.
Not a human sock monkey. I'm a human.
I wish you were a sock monkey too.
I don't want to be a sock monkey.
Sock monkeys are totally cute. I'll be a sock monkey. Maybe I could be one.
Okay.
I don't know. All right, we'll see. Something to aspire to. So, folks, if you want to be involved in the Monday Night Teas, you can go to facebook.com/Monday Night Teas and follow along and find out about all the shows and all the cool people that are coming, and you'll get all of the information. Or, you know what? Fuck all that. You don't need any information. You could just go down to the brownpapertickets.com and look up Monday Night Teas and just buy tickets. And then when you come to town, you'll see those shows and you'll be excited. You don't even know who they are. It's like spoilers for a movie. Look, I just ruined Godzilla for you. You don't want to go to the facebook.com/Monday Night Teas and get it spoiled for you. So what you need to do, no, just buy tickets. Buy tickets and show up and enjoy it. It's going to be amazing. So last week, the Flabam from Japan killed it. And the tomato from Australia. See, this is who I should be. I should be that guy. I should promote your show. You should have me do that. There used to be a guy in Chicago. They used to do this thing. Starbeat presents What's Happening. And he'd go, this week at the Thirsty Whale. And he'd tell you like these bands. And he'd run over like 18 bars. At Sonisa's Winery. It was just... I might even be kind of close to his voice. That sounded pretty close in my head. Starbeat presents What's Happening this week at the Thirsty Whale. There, it means Holland is there. He does some amazing band. I don't know. Holland makes an appearance 2 weeks in a row. Yeah, man, I could be that guy. I could be the hype man for your show. The tomato from Australia. And who else? The Scormany from Germany. Forgot all about her. Well, good. I'm glad the show went well. I'm sorry I missed the Flabam from Japan. But soon, book them again. I would love to come.
They come once a year around Biha.
Oh, that's a shame. I wish it had more for them. That's a coming joke.
It is.
It certainly is. So you want to talk about Honolulu here coming up?
Yeah, we have our big luau on Monday, and then I pack my bags and I head to the land of Kamanawanalea, and I perform at the Hawaii Burlesque Festival.
That's going to be exciting and fun.
It is. I'm looking forward to
Now,
it.
are you in Honolulu proper?
I am in Honolulu.
I have terrible news.
What?
It was destroyed by monsters.
Oh my God!
I think. I saw it on television. I have no idea.
Right? Selfies in front of the wreckage.
Dude. It's going to be fantastic. Watch out because some weird, like half spider, crab, weird flying thing hybrid might show up and look for an egg sac. Oh, it was just a mess. God, it was a mess. But I will say this: there was one awesome moment. Well, there's a couple of cool moments in Godzilla. No, it's not that bad. It's just a dumb summer movie. But there is one awesome thing. I can't tell you what it is, but it happened and I clapped.
Spoiled the entire film.
Doesn't matter. There's this one awesome thing because I don't want to say what it is because when you see it happen, you'll go, "Fuck yeah!"
Is it when Doc shows up at the DeLorean?
Different film, but also just as cool. I'm so mad they burned that joke in the fucking in the the hype and stuff like that. That's a thing you want to see in the theater and just go, oh wow, you know what I mean? It's like John Landis when he would hide the shit in fucking Trading Places. Mortimer, we're back with the fucking guys from 48 or not 48 hours from fucking. They were in Coming to America. That was so, dude. In the theater, people laughed for like 5 minutes because they recognized they were like, dude, that's the greatest. That kind of stuff is so cool, like nods and in jokes. And if you get it, you get it. Dude, the Avengers eating falafel is one of the funniest fucking things ever because you're just like, because again, something's going to happen and then a shot of them eating falafel. Come on. That's gorgeous. So I love that kind of stuff. So when that got out, man, it was such a bummer. And I don't know why I'm bummed. I don't care. I mean, I wasn't going to see the movie anyway.
Well, essentially, they gave the cum shot away.
Yeah, because that is how great would that have been to see that happen? It's such a cool idea to have that in the movie, and then to get it burned like that. What a drag! I'm sure Seth MacFarlane had to be pissed, right? He had to just be like, I can't believe that joke got out. God damn it!
Again, he wrote a song about boobs. How pissed could he be?
Let's not have this argument. Well, again, he's probably worth $400 million. So how pissed could he be? We talked about him last week.
So are the people who own Walmart.
Yeah, and good. Hey, I got news for you. I need cash. I just need fucking cash. Honestly, I show up at somebody's house and they give me $3, and I'm just like, well, I almost want to bite it and just go, thanks. You know what I mean? Like underdog, just like give me a fucking break. I never understand. It's like, I'll bring somebody something for $39 and they'll tip me $4, and which doesn't even round it up. It makes it 43, and I'm just like, they just give a standard 10%, I suppose. But it just makes me go, I don't. And my brother and I have this discussion all the time. I'm like, dude, I go, what? I got boned by that guy, and he's like, no, you didn't. 10%'s good, and I go, it's not though. You should give $5 on every delivery because you're a king. Essentially, you get to be a king. You sit in your house in your fucking underwear. You pick up a phone and go, hey, idiot, make me food and bring it here, and you hang up. So give me $5. That's it. $5 for the privilege of being a king. You're a goddamn king. You live at the beach. Don't get it. Never will. Those people that give me like $2, I just look at them and I'm just like, what? You know what? You keep it. You need that extra fucking dollar more than I do. Unbelievable. But again, who the fuck am I? Again, I bitched about this last week, and I'm a shark. I'm a goddamn shark. Move forward, move on. Don't even think about it. But I'm also a decent guy. But it should be a shark. I should be a decent shark. All right, so I don't know, man. I just want to fucking destroy Honolulu. That's all I want to fucking do. You can go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com and did we mention BrownPaperTickets.com and all that kind of stuff? And Honolulu Burlesque Festival. Where are the tickets available for that for Honolulu?
Go to
HawaiiBurlesqueFestival.com, and you can go see.
Saturday night.
You're performing Saturday night, June
21st.
So okay, Saturday night, June 21st. We're telling you early, but I want to make sure that you guys know that Saturday night, June 21st, you can go see Lily performing at the Hawaii Burlesque Festival. It's going to be amazing. Go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com, and as you know, Year 6 is now on sale at the Joe Business page. Year 1, Year 2, Year 3, Year 4, Year 5, and Year 6 available individually or as part of the Reservoir Schmidt Dog box set. You can donate to the show in the upper left-hand corner. Click on the little Schmitty and donate monthly or donate individual amounts. TweakedAudio.com is a great sponsor of our show. Your shirts are available. Big Angry CDs for the life of Schmitty. Single downloads. Schmitty Comes Alive, which is a show I was really proud of doing, and I hope you downloaded it and you like it, or you will download it in the future. And please remember that our Amazon portal works. The Amazon portal works. You can click on it, get to our store, which is still a little woeful, but then you click on the Amazon within our store and go and do some shopping and buy some neat stuff, and we get credit for it. We appreciate it. Thank you so much for thinking of us, and that's totally cool. Dude, I was going to tell you this. So then I was home, you know, at my East Coast home now, or my Midwest home at Jill's place. And she has a dog named Tawny, and it's a beagle. And it's just totally like a fat dog. Like this, and she's super cute, but oh my God, does she eat? But here's the thing, she eats because of me. She eats, first of all, she eats everything, which is crazy. This dog eats ice. Like, Jill will crack the ice cube tray and then throw 2 cubes of ice on the ground and then just make more. And Tawny eats it. She just chews it up and eats it. And someone told me it's because dogs like it because it gives them a rush in their sinuses. Like it's almost like menthol or something. And that's why and I'm just like, I don't know how you know so much about dogs and their digestive systems, but good for you. I just know a dog that just fucking likes eating ice. That's it. You know, I gave her water, but I also throw her treats, and she catches shit out of midair. Like, she'll catch it in her mouth, but also she eats everything, dude. She eats, like, eggs and ham and, whatever you don't have. She wanted to eat some of the steak when I made it when I was there. She ate, I think we threw her some potatoes. Dude, whatever you throw her, she'll eat. And I'm like, she's not supposed to eat this stuff. So, but I'm in the habit now of just, I give her food. I just throw it because it's fun to watch her catch it. So I'll just get, like, a handful of treats out of the thing, and I'll throw treats to her, and Jill's like, no wonder she fucking likes you. It's because you goddamn feed her everything. And, so there were homemade cookies, like Jill made homemade cookies. So I grabbed a cookie and I snapped it in half and I threw it in the air. And Tawny caught it. And Jill went in the other room, and Tawny looks up at me and she goes, and I looked at her and I go, you okay? And I'm like, you want some water? Because I don't even, what am I going to give her, a glass of fucking water? I don't know. But she starts choking like, and moving her head, and And I panicked because, I mean, I don't know what the fuck to do. And I know I just gave her a cookie and it's my fucking fault because if I gave her a treat, it would be soft and she could chew it. But I threw her half a cookie and I show up and I'm going to kill my girlfriend's dog. She's had the dog a lot longer than she's fucking had me. Who do you think's going to win that goddamn exchange? So the dog is choking and I'm looking at her and I go, and I put down and I grab her like kind of by the beagle ears and I go, Tawny, are you okay? And she's like, and I go, I don't. And so I kind of pushed on her like neck because I didn't want to reach in her mouth because I'm going to get dog bit. And then I'm like, dude, am I going to have to Heimlich this fucking dog? I'm going to have to Heimlich a goddamn dog. So I started to kind of move her around and I thought about putting my arm around her belly. And then she goes, and then she coughed up the piece of cookie finally on the ground. And I stand up, and I must be white as a fucking sheet. I'm looking at Tawny, and she's looking at me, and there's cookie on the ground. And of course, as a dog will do, she just fucking ate it. She just picked it up, and just this time she decided to chew it. And then Jill walks in. She goes, "Okay, hon, everything okay, hon?" And I'm like, "Yeah, everything's fine. Your dog didn't almost die." Like I'm in my head, that's all I'm thinking. But then Jill goes, and I told her later, I go, "Dude, I thought I was gonna have to Heimlich your dog." Like she was fucking choking and freaking out. And Jill, of course, starts fucking laughing. And I go, "No, seriously, she was choking. Like you had to see it." She goes, "She's fine now." And she always lays at my feet. And because that's the thing, I guess Jill's like, she never does this with anybody. She jumps up on the couch or she jumps up on the bed when I'm in there, and she just wants to kind of be by me. It's kind of cool, but at the same time, I'm like, oh, I don't know if that's cool. Like she shouldn't do that, right? She shouldn't be doing those things. So the day I went to Walmart, I woke up and I went to take a shower, and before I took the shower, I had to let the dog out. So you put her on a leash and you walk her just outside. So I didn't even, again, I'm an old man. I don't care. So I went outside in boxer briefs and a t-shirt, and I let the dog loose in the yard on a leash that I'm holding. And I'm not kidding you. We joke that she lives in a city, but it's not really big. But she lives in an area that doesn't have like a ton of people. But it's a neighborhood, certainly. And I'm not joking. 5 different people walk by while I'm standing outside in my underwear, like out on the porch, and they all stop to look at me and say hi, hi, and I'm like, hi, how are you? I'm in boxer briefs. I mean, it was just like so, and I don't know if I looked weird again because just a big dude in his underwear with a fucking dog on a leash. Because I mean, I don't care, but at the same time, a couple and then another couple and then another person, and all of them stopped and looked at me and said hi. And they're far away. They're like, they're down by the street. I'm up on the deck. And I'm just like, hi, how are you? And I wave. And I think, did I tell the story on here where the guy came in the house when I was there a couple of weeks ago or a month ago? Dude, I'm in Jill's house and someone comes in. And I didn't know if it was who it could be. So I text her and I go, hey, someone's in the house. And she's like, oh, that's probably the landlord. They had to come and fix like a drainage thing in the basement. And she goes, is he like a 75-year-old dude? And I go, well, I'm not walking out there. I go, because I'm in the bedroom and I go to get dressed and I hear him talking to Tawny. He doesn't sound 75 years old. So I get dressed and I see he walks out the door and I see him walk by the window and no, he's probably like 35. I mean, he's younger. So I text her. I go, I guarantee it's not the landlord. Some young guy. She goes, oh, he was in the house? And I go, yeah. And she goes, you know what? It's probably his assistant. And I go, well, I just want to make sure I don't get shot, because they don't know that I'm here, and it is Wisconsin. So I throw some clothes on, and I walk outside, and I come around the corner, and they're at the house next door. And I see there's an old man and a young guy. And I look, and I go, hey. And the landlord guy goes, whoa, who's this now? And the guy turns around and he goes, I don't know. I didn't see him. I said, look, I just wanted to come out and tell you I am, my name's Mike. I'm a friend of Jill's. You're going to see me here a lot. I'm in the house, and you were just in there, and I didn't want to say anything because, quite frankly, I didn't want to get shot. And he goes, oh, well, it's a good thing you came out and you told us because I tell you what, both of us are carrying. And I went, really? And he goes, yeah, we both got licenses, and we both got the closed carry, or what is it called? The concealed. We both got concealed carry permits, so yeah, we're carrying definitely. It's a good thing you came out and you told us. I'm glad you said something. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. Like, part of me wanted to go, yeah, I'm glad I told you, but at the same time, are you just saying you would have blasted away at anybody who came walking out of the bedroom? You don't know who the fuck's in the house. But he said flat out, he's like, yeah, we both got guns. I'm glad you told us. So now we know. And I'm like, yeah, now we know not to fucking shoot Jill's boyfriend when he comes walking out. Jesus Christ. I cooked a steak. I thought it was a man. 2 dudes with guns show up. So then I'm at the house and I go to take a shower. This is like, the last time I was there, and I turn the shower on and I go to get I pull the curtain back and I go to jump in, and Tawny jumps in the bathtub. The dog tries to get in the bathtub, but the thing is, she's fat. She's like a beagle, and she's all fat, so she only got like her two front legs over with her head, and she tried to pull herself into the bathtub with me. And I'm like, girl, what are you doing? You can't stop, Tawny, baby. And I like petted her and I put her off the bed or I put her off the bathtub, and I'm looking at her and she's looking at me, and I'm just like, I'm gonna go in here now and get washed up. Like I thought I had a weird, awkward moment. So I get in and I throw shampoo in my hair. And she just starts barking. I mean, she won't stop. And again, I don't know if that means somebody's in the house. I don't know what's happening. But I poke my head out. I'm like, Tawny, and she just keeps barking and barking. So I get out of the fucking shower, grab a towel, I throw it on me, and I walk out. And I walk through the whole house. I look outside and I don't see anybody. And I look in the bedroom and I don't see anyone. And she's barking, and I look at her and she stops barking. And she walks with me. And then I walk into the bathroom and I go, "Are you okay?" And she just kind of looks at me and she's, yeah. And I'm like, okay, all right. So I pull the curtain back and I go again, and she jumps back into the fucking bathtub. She just was barking because she couldn't see me. Like, because I closed the curtain and she couldn't see my face, I guess. I don't know. I can't figure it out. But then she tried to jump in again, and I go, no, you can't. What are you doing? You can't come in here. And I pet her, and then she just, she kept barking. And then she laid down on the bath mat, waited for me to get out. And I got out of the shower, and she moved over, and I got dried up. And she was with me the whole way. I went into the bedroom to get dressed. She's like at my feet. It was just, it was cool, but also at the same time, like, I don't know if that's smart or good. But now I thought about it, and you know what I'm going to do? Dude, I'm going to make this dog a killing machine. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get there. I'm going to throw her treats. I'm going to let her get into the bathtub with me. I'm going to scrub her up. I'm going to fucking get her clean. And then I'm going to make her a killing machine, because when those dudes come over with the guns, I'm just going to go, Tawny. And Tawny's going to take the two dudes out with the guns. It's going to be perfect. I don't need a goddamn gun. You know what? You want to have concealed carry? I got concealed pooch, baby. I'm going to fucking throw this dog at you, and this beagle's going to take you the fuck out. It'll be the meanest beagle in the history of the world. It's just going to be, and it'll be totally cool to me. It'll be totally cool to Jill. But anybody else who comes by, it's just going to go right for its fucking carotid. And it's just going to, and I mean, it is a crazy, snoopy beagle. It's going to fucking Red Baron the shit out of you, man. It is gonna throw on a Sopwith camel hat and just fucking die. Literally, this show starts as a tiny snowball, and at the end, hundreds are dead at the bottom of a ravine. I mean, I get that. Believe me, if there's any show in the history of the world that does not need to be transcribed for posterity, it's this one. I like when nobody can see the seams. I like when I'm able to kind of just, fly with the bees wherever. When I have to actually stop the bees and ask for directions, that's not fun. I just like unleashing the bees, but when the bees have to stop in mid-flight and we all have to kind of look at each other and bust out a fucking map, that's not fun at all. I want to saddle up these bees and ride, goddammit! I'm done.